Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour, brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Enter as friends, leave as family. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Welcome, one and all. Hey, after a few episodes of extra-length, quote-unquote, hour of this show, we have a shorter show due to a guest cancellation, but it still is going to qualify as a bonus show as we get to play the latest from Redmaker, thanks to the permission of David Pendery from Crazy Poet Records. Yes, David Pendery. He's going to be on again, and he's been mighty busy since the last appearance that he was on. They've been putting out new music like crazy from a multiple of acts. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Doesn't matter what you toast with, as we all have different tastes, we have different times of the day, we happen to be listening. I'm having my usual Jasper Newton, a Jack Daniels, Diet Coke with a lime. You might be drinking water, milk, coffee, tea, beer, wine, or champagne. It all comes in different types of glassware, doesn't it? But whatever your beverage of choice is, lift it high and toast to the old adage, many hands make light work. Oh, my mother used that so often when I was growing up. And the reason I bring it up is last week, the Vaughties, cast and crew, incredibly, with all their muscle and efficiency, set up the stage in less than 30 minutes. It was amazing to watch, and the cooperation was great. So that allowed the show to go on as scheduled. That's right. When we say 7:30, we start at 7:30. Hey, by the way, speaking of the Vaughties, it's not too far off. The Vaughties Rockin' the Holiday Show, Thursday, November 13th. Tickets on sale soon. But in the meantime, cheers to many hands. The Weekend Eve Toast is brought to you by Chasers, West 12th and Ellis Road. Stop in for great food, great beverages, and fun times. Monday nights at 7, we play Dave Holly Hour Trivia. This coming Monday, the theme will be National Chef's Day. Chasers, your neighborhood gathering place. Honorable mention. What made Dave laugh, chuckle, chortle, downright slap my knee silly, or maybe shed a tear of joy? Oh, it was so great to see MCAP, Mighty Corson Art Players, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Boy, there was some great acting in that. A long play, because the first act is more than a little bit lengthy, but it didn't take away from the quality of the show. Well done in terms of casting, well done in terms of acting, light and sound design, also very, very good. Way to go, MCAP. Later in the show, new music from Redmaker. In just a few minutes, Crazy Poet Records, David Pendery on the Dave Holly Hour. Creativity is in full bloom this fall at Serendipity Studio. The Transitions Gallery exhibit is open through the end of October, celebrating the beauty of movement, growth, and transformation through powerful works of art. Stop by this Saturday for the Atrium Makers Market, a vibrant indoor showcase of local artists, crafters, and makers offering handmade goods, art, and one-of-a-kind treasures. And for artists looking to take the next step in their creative journey, Serendipity offers personalized one-on-one career coaching designed to help you build confidence, expand your audience, and grow your business sustainably. Discover, create, and connect at Serendipity Studio, where art and opportunity meet. Learn more at serendipitystudiosd.com. Hey, I have to tell you about an event that's coming up. The Fellowship Jazz Center Orchestra is going to be returning to the stage with The Evolution of Swing in America. Unforgettable evening, music tracing the rich history, vibrant transformation of swing. Dynamic performance is going to capture the rhythm, melody, and timeless energy that continue to make swing so irresistible. Kicking off the evening, the Lincoln High School Jazz Collective, bringing fresh energy and talent to the stage. It's going to be Friday night, November 7th, 7:30 in the Belbus Theater at the Washington Pavilion. Their Master of Ceremonies, also very good. Get your tickets at fellowshipjazzcenter.org. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind journey through the music that defined an era. Secure your seats today. Trio Jazz Club is an intimate music venue in the heart of Sioux Falls. It's family-owned and family-run. Ricardo and Mary Beth and the entire staff provide the art of hospitality, while the best local and regional musicians provide the smooth sounds. It's a great vibe with live music Tuesday through Saturday nights. The chefs and mixologists offer an amazing menu and beer and wine lists. Cocktails as smooth as the jazz. Join the club, Trio Jazz Club, across from the Washington Pavilion. Enter as friends, leave as family.
The Dave Holly Hour, like eavesdropping on a great conversation between two very interesting people.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I'm going to say it because I just must, because I feel it, that it is always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. You know, we've had great guests all throughout the nearly 300 episodes. And it was an early introduction to a returning guest that was done just, notes back and forth, messages, because he was working with Mark Dahm, but he was living out in Colorado. He moves back. And it was finally like, well, David, you have to be on the show. And now with everything that's going on for you, we have to have you back on the show, Mr. Record Producer.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to be back.
David Pendery, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, my friend?
I love it. I'm doing very well.
Awesome.
As I tell people, I'm better anytime I see you.
Oh, that's very
good. And, well, you got that smile on your face. That's what, that's like a number one thing for me. Doesn't matter.
Life is good, man.
Yeah,
you got to enjoy it,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So it's good to have you back here in the Dipsy Doodle Productions studio. Not nearly, what is available for recording at the warehouse, but it suffices.
It works for this.
Exactly.
I love the setup here. It's always good to be back.
Oh, so where do we want to start? And with what group do we want to start?
Man, so much has happened. I think I was on episode, I think it was 270, 271, something like that, back in March. And we had just relaunched Crazy Poet Records with my return to South Dakota. And we have done so much since then. New music from all of our acts has come out. Singles, EPs, full-length records. Signed a new act since then. I think we're in negotiations with them. Redmaker, when I was on last time, we hadn't announced them. We announced them shortly after.
I said we like I was part of it.
Well, as a fan, you are absolutely a part of it. We just keep cranking out new music. We've got all of our artists actually are working on new music right now as well. Mm-hmm. So it's been a wild 8-9 months, whatever it's been, getting new music out to the world.
Yeah. Well, you've been pumping it out.
We have.
Every time I look around and pop on Instagram or on Facebook, I see you're highlighting somebody, and you talk about releases, and you've got the singles and so forth that you put out. But what has been the most exciting part for you in this time frame getting back here?
I think just being involved with all the different artists. Now that I'm here, I can actually be in the studio when they're working on music, which has been a ton of fun. I was in when they were finalizing the mixes on Ben Gertner's EP, Drinking Lightning, that just came out. That was one of the first ones that came out after we spoke. I was in the studio with Redmaker as they were finalizing their first few singles. They've got another single that's going to be coming out here soon. So just being more involved in that creative process has been a whole lot of fun, and just being in the studio with Mark and all the other artists and producers, and working on my own music with Mark as well.
Yeah,
it's been a lot of fun.
Yes, and so where are we in the search for George?
We are still searching.
Okay.
Whatever, 30 some years later. But we've put out 3 singles so far this year, and we'll have a fourth. We actually just had a good buddy Rich Dahl in the studio over the weekend putting down drums on our new single, which we're really, really excited about as well.
And does it have a title?
It does. It's called Don't Ask. Actually, I should have just said, yes, it has a title. Don't ask.
Don't ask.
Man, I screwed that one up.
You missed it on the punchline there.
Oh, well. But yes, it's called Don't Ask. It's a song that Mark and I wrote a long time ago. And we had been messing around with it for a while, had some programmed drums just to kind of get it down. And just thought, man, we gotta revive this one. And Rich is just such a monster behind the kit. And he agreed to come in and put something down. And Mark was just going crazy. He was sending me video clips over because I couldn't be in the studio this weekend. He sent me video clips of all the work that he was doing. And man, it's amazing how it changes a song when you get someone of his caliber playing on your track.
So how often are you in the studio? Not necessarily. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in weekly. It really depends that, we've got all of our different artists coming in different times, depending on kind of where they are in the production process. So, we've got several songs with These Broken Lines, Brian Detmer's, that we're working on right now. I think we've got 2 singles that are kind of wrapping up there. We put out a full-length record from him not too long ago, called The Push Button Plymouth Affair, and a couple of singles as well. But he's been in regularly. Ben Gertner just started working on his new material. Like I said, Redmaker's got a couple of songs coming. Natty's always working on stuff.
I was going to say, we can't forget her.
Of course not.
Wow.
And now we're bringing her with others. So she actually sang lead on the last These Broken Lines song, which was great, called Neptune and Mars. And she was on another single of theirs called Hearts of Tennessee that came out a while back. So it's great to get the artists kind of working together as well.
Who's the most busy out of all these?
Definitely Redmaker. These guys are out there really pushing it hard. They are playing live all over the place. They're up in the cities. They've been out on the western part of the state. They've got that drive and that hunger. And even with busy family lives and school and work and everything else that they've got going on, they're really giving it their all, and doing some really great shows and making some things happen.
You said you recently saw them.
We did, yeah. It was wild. So it was a lot of fun. So Redmaker and Ben Gertner did a show together at Full Circle, which was kind of an interesting place to see Redmaker.
Yeah, exactly. They take up half the room.
Well, it wasn't so much the sound took up all of the room and then some. Yeah. They're a loud, wild act, which I absolutely love. Ben was there full band, not just doing his acoustic thing. And it was really fun to see two of our artists together, and each of their crowds, because their styles are different, right?
Yeah.
But to be able to see their collective crowds really digging the vibe of each other.
Now, I know that at one point, Mark was saying, I'm not really taking on anything new, but that was before you moved back. Are you taking on things that are new now?
Very rarely. So interestingly, Redmaker was actually started off as just an act that, through a friend of a friend, hey, can you do me a favor and maybe record a couple of songs for these guys? And they came into the studio and blew us away. And we ended up signing them at that point. We've got, I think Mark's got a couple, 2-3 folks that he works with that he's got long-standing relationships with who aren't on the label, and he records them. But for the most part, the artists that we've got on Crazy Poet keep him pretty busy.
Do you like being the size of a record label that you are?
Yeah, it's a lot to manage. I think we want to make sure, one of the big reasons why we structured the label the way we did was we want to make sure that we can give each artist the attention they deserve. And we want to make sure that we don't have a lot of competing artists on the label. So that's why I think you see things like Natalie singing with Brian. You see, Redmaker and Ben out doing shows together. Kevin Vermillion put out a great EP called Extras and was just in a couple weeks back working on pre-production on his next EP. And we were talking about how we could bring in some of the other artists on some of his new material. And so it's nice to have a good, solid stable of artists that are complementary, but not so large that,
you can't maintain the stable.
Yeah. It feels like we're just cranking out song after song and release after release. And we are. And I think the volume feels really good right now. We're not opposed to taking on new artists if we find someone that feels right and is the right fit. But we're happy with the size we are and the attention we're able to get to our artists and the noise we're able to make like this.
And what's interesting is these acts are so different.
Yeah.
It's not like you're focusing on, we're going to do, love songs, or we're going to do country, we're going to do rock and roll. You've got it all.
Yeah. And that's really Mark and I, since we first met 30 some years ago, when I was managing Search for George, we just had this philosophy that a good song is a good song. It doesn't really matter what the genre is. And, I've always been a big country fan, and Mark has slowly become more of a country fan. We've got, Kevin Vermillion is a true country singer-songwriter and just brilliant at that. Natalie is that country pop, right? And does some great stuff there. Ben with his sort of singer-songwriter vibe, alternative rock. Brian and These Broken Lines, rock with more of that kind of classic rock blues sort of spin. Redmaker is that grunge, in your face, loud, wild party kind of vibe. And then Search for George is kind of your 90s throwback alt rock. It's nice to have that mix. I think, as long as it's music that we dig, we're open to it. We didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves into any one particular genre.
You ever thought of having all of your artists in one big event?
We've thought about it. Yeah. We've talked about a couple of different things. Maybe doing more of a stripped down acoustic, like writers round kind of things. We're actually talking about putting something like that together. So actually stay tuned. I think that one's probably going to happen. They're getting everyone together in one venue would be a lot of fun. The logistics of, all the different setups when you've got 5 bands and all the gear and everything else could be a bit much. We are looking at some potential compilation release options there, bringing out some songs where we might, at least in the studio, get more collaboration between artists, which I think would be a lot of fun and probably logistically a little bit easier than a live show with 5 acts.
Yeah. In the meantime, why not put together the old K-Tel style when they had those things, except at a much better quality, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Is Mark still on the Don't Bore Us, Get to the Chorus?
Yeah, it's funny. We try to balance that, maintaining the artistic vision that the bands have with, what's the most commercially viable option that we see. And that's a balance. Sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, we get it. You want this long dramatic intro and you want to kind of get through, and we don't want to stifle creativity, but when we're really focused on licensing deals, and we've signed some really great licensing deals recently for our label, we know what the recordings have to be in order to be useful in a commercial setting, and so that might mean we do a radio edit version where we don't have explicit lyrics. We might do an edit down, taking off an intro or shortening a bridge or something like that to get it that, as we called our third record from Search for George, a 3-minute pop song, right? Yeah. That they're looking for. Instrumental versions of all the songs. We always put those together so we have them available. So we try to have that flexibility. But yeah, Mark has a really good ear for, let's get on with it. Let's get to that hook. And also let's not, you don't want to overuse the hook either. You know what I mean? You want to give people just enough they want to hear more, and then maybe not give them more. Maybe leave them wanting some more, and give them a reason to come back and listen again.
Yeah. When you are looking at national acts and so forth, what's tripping your trigger that you kind of go, wish we could get somebody like that? Or who do we have that is maybe in the same, not necessarily genre, but just in the same mold?
Yeah, the music industry, so to speak, right now has really changed so much, and it's so diverse, I think, because it's so much easier to record music and put out music and take advantage of social media and all that. So there's just a lot of variety out there. I don't know that I'm really looking for anything that is kind of at that national level, just because I don't know that means a whole lot, because in this day and age with everything digital, I think everyone's got the same fair chance of building an audience. I mean, yes, it's important to go out and play live, and if you can do tours and things like that, but we all have the same opportunity to reach an audience digitally and be active and engaging online. And so that's what we encourage our artists to do. And again, we're into good music, whatever the genre is.
How do you guys make money, and how does the band and the artists make money?
There's not a ton of money to be made, just to be super, super honest. I think, again, we're focused more on licensing deals. So we've got music licensed to different retail establishments, right? So if you go into a bar or a retail store and they've got music playing in the background, they have to pay licensing royalties for all of that. And so we've got music licensed through a number of different companies that produce what they call overhead radio. We've got our music licensed with sports platforms like Peloton, where music can be used through some of their classes and things like that. And so those are really what they call sync deals. Those are the best ways for both the artist and the label to make money. There's no money in streaming. Right. What I mean? It's a great way to hear people and discover new music, but you're not going to, at 0.00009 cents per stream, like it's just, you're not going to make anything.
Exactly.
I think for those artists who can get out and tour, you can make decent money out touring if you're kind of at the right size and scale, selling merchandise. You can do that kind of thing. But it's definitely changed, and that's why we're kind of focused more on that commercial side of things.
Yeah, I know a friend told me, he said, you want to support a local artist, buy their T-shirt.
For sure.
Yeah.
And by the way, we have if I can do a little plug here, we've got an online store at crazypoetrecords.com. And for anyone listening here, if you go to the store and use promo code Dave Holly, you get a 12% discount on any purchase.
Hey.
So we've got some cool merchandise for the label. We've got some stuff from Search for George. Just put up some new stuff from Natty Jean. We've got stuff for These Broken Lines. Ben Gertner and Redmaker are working on some stuff that'll be up there soon. So yeah, promo code Dave Holly, and you get a discount on any purchase.
I like it. Remember, Holly is HOLLY. I will be using that code.
There you go.
Which reminds me, speaking of merch, I forgot to bring some up for you because I owe you some tchotchke. I mean, I gave you a couple of things.
I like this. Is awesome.
Well, that one's got the most
bottle opener, like you always need a bottle opener.
Yes, and it has a tape measure.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
This would have come in handy in the studio the other day. We were setting up microphones on the drum kit. You want to get spacing right?
And then
that'll be really
that
handy.
Is the most illuminating flashlight for a keychain. You can actually find the lock.
I just blinded myself.
Yes, you can actually find the lock that you need to open.
Okay, this is fantastic. Well, you can see your beer in the dark too, so you got the bottle.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. I like.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Nice.
Now I just got to get a private label of liquor and so forth too.
There you go.
You guys look at that. I mean, because if you're at least, when I sit there and think of merch for this show, for all the other entities I have, it's like, what's the point of ridiculousness? What's the point of usefulness?
You can slap your logo on anything these days. It was actually funny. I was talking with Ben the other day, and you can literally, we were doing some mock-ups of some things, and it's like you can put it on, condom wrappers and underwear and T-shirts and hats and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to put stuff out that people are just going to throw away and not use. So, this kind of stuff that's actually useful is cool. But what we found is that people just they like the wearables. They like a good quality shirt, nice hat, especially in South Dakota. You want your nice, stocking cap, you want your hoodie, that kind of stuff for the winter. And we do a decent business with that.
Awesome. Yeah. What's the thing that's missing for you guys right now?
that's missing for us.
I mean, because you've come a long way. I mean,
we have. I think, for us, it's just continuing to get the artists out there. That's our big focus. It's even really hard now if people just don't go out to see live music the way they used to.
No, they don't.
There's I can't remember. There's a page I follow on Facebook that puts out kind of what's happening in Sioux Falls each day, and you go through there and it's like there's this band, this duo, this thing, but then it's like 15 or 20 different places where you can go do karaoke, and that's great if that's your thing,
right?
But back when I was here before, you could be out playing all the time, and you'd pack places from Phil's to Skelly's to whatever. You just don't see people coming out as much anymore, which is sad. Although, again, another little plug, Phil's is back open. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not.
Phil's Pub is back open. We met the new owners, and they're starting to have live music there, which was really cool. Mark and I went there one night after being in the studio, and they've got a lot of the retro posters up from all the bands from the back of the 90s and things like that. And the two guys who bought the place are doing a real nice job kind of reviving an iconic location here in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, in fact, it was just this past weekend, South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
They did, yeah. It was at the Icon, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so fantastic things going on for that.
They had some great honorees this year. Crash Alley, Eldon Fisher's a good friend of ours from way back. And it's cool to see. It's cool to see those honorees.
I had some friends in the Tractors.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was proud of that, and I think they also this year got inducted into the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
So double duty there.
There you go.
Yeah, very fun stuff. Search for George ever going to be there?
Oh, I don't know. It's not up to us. It's not something we've ever really focused on or cared about. It's when we were kind of in our heyday, we didn't really play in Sioux Falls all that much. Mm-hmm. We play the Pomp Room from time to time, but we were really trying to make a go of it and break nationally. And so we played everywhere from California to Kentucky and kind of everywhere in between, but we'd only play in Sioux Falls once every couple of months at most. So I don't know that even for being a Sioux Falls band that we're as known in Sioux Falls as a lot of others. We've been continuously putting out music for the last 30 years. We never stopped. If you go out online, you can see all the music that's been coming out since 3 Minute Pop Song was our last full-length record, but we've done probably 20 or 30 singles since then. And continue to, and Mark's the only continual member of the band, and has been he and I for the last several years. But we've been around all this time, but no one, because we're not out playing live and those challenges there. It's just that was never a focus. We just like having fun making music, and hopefully people dig it.
You mentioned a couple of times now 3 Minute Pop Song.
Yeah.
What is the magical number when it comes to the length of a record now?
Length of a record. That's, what's funny is
a single.
Well, a single, I mean, between 2 and 3 minutes really is kind of a sweet spot. Mm-hmm. I think most of the time. It is all about singles now. I think ever since streaming, and this is really frustrating for artists because we want to put together an album and have a story, and we will agonize over the order that we put the songs in and that sort of thing. But now it's just all singles. People can go and listen to things in whatever order they want, stream one song, download one song. It ends up on different playlists. And so that idea of this package story is kind of out the window. And so I think, it doesn't really matter in terms of like albums or EPs or things like that. There's some, strict definitions there, but for the most part, it's just getting that good, solid song out there, and then trying to stay in front of your audience and stay relevant.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people, and I've been guilty of it myself from time to time, when you've got your playlist and so forth, and you're listening, and all of a sudden go, that one doesn't really trip my trigger as much as I thought. Doink,
skip,
you go on. Yeah,
yep. And these platforms learn what you like, right? Which is also cool. I mean, they will serve up things that they think you will like based on what you've listened to. And that's actually been really great for our artists as well. They'll end up on playlists based on people's activity and artists that may be similar. And we're obviously constantly pitching different playlists and things like that. But the auto discovery feature is probably, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the streaming model or the streaming companies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of have to be there, but they've sort of fundamentally change the industry in a way that just makes it really tough for artists. But the one good thing is that ability to discover new music is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it is nice in that regard. Do you find people searching locally? Are they concentrated because they go, hey, I want to listen to Redmaker, I want to listen to Danny Jean, I want to listen to Ben?
I don't know that geography plays a whole lot into it. It really is more genre based. Now, those algorithms will serve up things based on a whole host of different demographic information, and locality is one of those. But typically, it's more by genre. You really kind of even have to dig a little bit to even know where the artist is based these days, if you kind of dig into their profile a little bit.
Yeah. Is it tough making the artist aware of what all is going to take place when you sign them, and what you look to do for them, and how much work they'll have to put into it too?
Yeah, well, what we always say is you're going to get out of it as much as you put into it, right? We do have expectations for what the artist will do in terms of, self-promotion and engaging with their audience, obviously recording new music and that sort of thing. But they all take a little bit of a different approach, which is fine. And we try to, again, lead with their creative vision. Again, that's the whole purpose and reason why we created Crazy Poet the way we did, is that we want the artist's creative vision to stay at the forefront. And so it's not a one-size-fits-all approach that we do. If they don't play out live as much, the way we promote the artist might be different than those who do. But typically it's just the engagement with their audience, their fans, is what's most critical. Being online, not just kind of pushing information out there, but actually engaging and creating a personality and creating that experience for their listeners.
Who is the poet?
They all are.
They all are.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, that being poet for a record label is all about lyrics.
Yeah, and which is really my thing. I think I've always been more of a lyricist first songwriter than anything else. Or, whether I come with lyrics and Mark has the music, or Mark has music and we figure out the lyrics or whatever together. That's kind of been my thing. I've been a writer, like poet stories in my professional life outside of music. I've always been in a kind of writing profession. That's always been sort of my thing, which is kind of why the name is what it is. It's actually funny. I was at the car dealership earlier this week, just getting an oil change, and I had a Crazy Poet Records sticker on my laptop, and a woman came up to me and said, "Oh, I'm record. What's that?" And "Oh, I'm a poet. I've got lyrics. Do you ever look for the lyrics that you would need for a song?" And we don't typically accept unsolicited stuff, but it was interesting that she just kind of out of the blue was like, "I'm a poet. Could it be used in music?" Right? And that's I think how a lot of it starts.
Yeah. Who do you respect as a recording engineer, as a producer, in the same size of label that you guys are?
The same size label, that's hard, because I don't necessarily know all the same. I mean, I think we aspire to bigger things, right? I think one of my all-time favorites is probably Butch Walker, from the Marvelous Three and several other bands. He really was able to just kind of grind it out. Lived in a van, toured all over the place, went through several iterations of his band, finally broke with Marvelous Three and Freak of the Week, and then, built a name for himself. And now he's produced everybody from Pink to Fall Out Boy to you name it. He was just on tour playing guitar with Train. And we got to know him pretty well back in the day. And he's always been able to maintain things on his own terms. And he's got his studio at his house, and he's very unconventional. He's not about like having the perfect space. He's just about how do you capture that energy and that vibe. And that's what we try to do is that authentic sort of approach. And so I've always admired his take on it. And he's just a great songwriter, just a great lyricist, monster on the guitar, and just phenomenal.
Earlier, I asked you about what was exciting you most from when you returned. Now, what's exciting you in the future?
I would say continuing to put out great music, because at the end of the day, that's really what it is. And for us, Mark and I, we talk about this all the time. Even if there wasn't a label, even if no one was ever going to listen to the music, we'd still be doing it. We don't write and record for other people. We do it because it's in us and we love it. And so, I think all of the artists would say the same thing. They just want to write music that's real for them and is authentic. They're not trying to like craft some fake experience or whatever. I mean, what you hear is true, authentic stories from all of them. And so I just want to continue to have that opportunity to be in that creative space and allow the artists to do the same, and hopefully just keep cranking out music that at the end of the day people do dig.
Yeah, well, I know I dig it. I love, and I am one of those that occasionally does get out to hear live music, but we
appreciate that.
At the age that I am, I can't wait for a show to start at 9:00. That's bedtime.
I hear you. Yeah,
because my wife and I we celebrate New Year's Eve in Greenland.
There you go.
Because in the middle of Greenland is a time zone that's 3 hours ahead of us.
That's what, when I lived in Colorado, we would celebrate with the East Coast. We get the 2 hours. Yep. It's like, okay, we're good.
Yep. Yeah. And then you can go to bed.
Yep, exactly. All they do is they repeat the shows on TV anyway.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing. So why watch it twice?
All right, my friend. Great to have you back. And we have different questions for you now because you're a repeat guest.
All right.
So let's go with the one that I've been loving lately is, what's your spirit animal?
My spirit animal. So I'm gonna say, just because my family's getting ready to take a trip, we're gonna spend some time in Costa Rica. It's one of our favorite places in the entire world. I'm gonna say the howler monkey.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I know much about them.
They're the little, you see them all over.
Yeah.
I've got videos on my phone somewhere I can show you, but they're the monkeys. They're swinging through the tree. It seems like they're always having a good time. And when you go out early in the morning in Costa Rica, you hear them calling to each other. And it just looks like life is good. Right. So yeah, I'd say the howler monkey.
All right. And life is going very well for you.
It is indeed.
Excellent. Appreciate it. David Pendery from Crazy Poet Records. Thank you so much for spending time again. And after the break here, we'll hear from Redmaker.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Tune on there for you. Thank you, sir. And we'll be back with that in just a moment. This week at Trio Jazz Club, where the music moves you. Tonight, kick back for an unforgettable night with Porch Swing, a high-energy gypsy jazz and western swing band based out of South Dakota and Minnesota. Expect toe-tapping rhythms, vibrant solos, and a show that's pure joy from start to finish. On Friday and Saturday, experience the spirit of jazz with the Fellowship Jazz Collective, a group devoted to building community through music. From school outreach to live performances, their mission brings the art of jazz to life, educating, inspiring, and connecting audiences across the region. Tuesday evening, join Ethan Hillian, acclaimed bassist, composer, and bandleader from Chicago, for an evening of rich sound and musical storytelling. Lauded by Downbeat Magazine and the Washington Post, Ethan's performances are a masterclass in artistry and heart. And lastly, Wednesday, close out that week with Jacob Moeller on electric guitar, bringing soulful grooves and an effortless style to the trio stage. Live music, fine dining, unforgettable nights. Find your tickets online at triojazzclub.com. 16 musicians, one stage. The Fellowship Jazz Center Orchestra returns to the stage with The Evolution of Swing in America, an unforgettable evening of music, tracing the rich history and vibrant transformation of swing. Friday, November 7th, 7:30 p.m., Washington Pavilion's Belvis Theater. Fellowship Jazz Center is a nonprofit committed to building a strong regional jazz community through education, live performance, and outreach. Learn more and buy your tickets at fellowshipjazzcenter.org. That's fellowshipjazzcenter.org. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind journey through the music that defined an era. Secure your seats today.
For him, every day is a holiday. Here again, Dave Holly.
Cool. That'll be cool. Yeah.
People ask him where he got his top shelf voice. Dime store? Bargain. Once again, here's Dave Holly.
We just heard Redmaker with Lecture. Some cool lyrics in that, especially about the state of the music industry. Thanks again to my incredible guest, David Pendery, and for allowing us to play the latest release from Redmaker. To find out what he said in our previous conversation, go to davehollyhour.com. All 295 episodes are available to you anytime you want to hear them. Thank you all for supporting local arts and for taking the time to download, listen, and share this show. I encourage you to find your art. Find the art that you enjoy. Find the art you're interested in trying. Like my love and I have been doing lately with some Alex Lunstra guided painting classes. Fun times. And we'll see you in the arts. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Art South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, my name is Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club, Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. Stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. All episodes available anytime at davehollyhour.com. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.